Welcome everybody to this year's forecasting. This is our first ever virtual series for forecasting for 9th through 11th grade. We're so excited to be here with you guys, and who would have thought that a year ago we would be doing all of this year virtually, but here we are adapting. We wish we were in person having this conversation with you guys. We're going to do our best to adapt to this. If all else fails, just know that you can pause this presentation at any time to go back to write down key points to make sure that you get all of your questions answered, and also know that you can access your counselors at any time if you need help with anything. So here we go. First and foremost, never forget that our master schedule is based off of the classes that you forecast for. I know so often you hear us say this, and we're going to continue to say it until it is ingrained in your brains, but we don't know what our master schedule looks like. We don't know what teachers are teaching the classes that they have or when they're teaching the classes they have until you guys have forecasted for all of your classes, which is why it is so important that you pick the classes that you not only want, but the classes that you actually need in order to graduate with us from Bend Senior High. So when you are looking at your credits, which we're going to go into, in addition to the classes that you want and need to take, make sure that you are picking carefully. We say this every year, and if you got to experience it this year with COVID, you know now more than ever that we are not doing schedule changes. It is so important that you pick the classes that you want and that you need, because going into next year, even though the hope will be that we will be on campus every day, we still recognize that between COVID, safety, and our master schedule, that you are not going to be able to make schedule changes. So please choose wisely, okay? With that being said, you must forecast for 5 alternative classes, not 3, not 4, but 5 alternative options that you would be okay being placed in if you didn't get your number one choice. And the reason for that is, with a new high school opening, lots of things are moving, boundaries are changing, students are choosing to pick the high school that they want to attend, which means our classes are subject to change at any time. So if you pick a class that you're super excited about, and for some reason that class no longer exists, we drop down to your alternatives. Here's the bottom line. If you do not pick 5 alternatives, your lovely counselors will pick a class for you, and we're not doing schedule changes. So you very well could get stuck in a class that you do not want. So make sure you pick 5 alternative options. A note to juniors and seniors, shout outs. Hey, you guys are able to forecast for a teacher's assistant position. You can only forecast for that TA spot one time a semester, and it's only available for our juniors and seniors. Sorry, freshmen and sophomores, you will get there eventually, but juniors and seniors, you can only forecast for one TA spot a semester. And make sure the last thing is, when you're picking those 5 alternate classes, that you are choosing those alternates that you really, really want. Again, we're not making schedule changes. And if you don't have 5 alternates in there, your counselor will pick for you and you won't be able to exit from that class. This is a form that you should all be familiar with, but this is your course selection guide. So each grade level will have a list of options. It has everything from the core classes that you need, math, science, English, social studies, to all of your elective options. So make sure that when you are getting ready to complete your forecasting sheet, that you are taking a look at these course selections. Also make sure that you are paying attention to the credit options. If it's a 0.5 or a 1 full credit, the key to pay attention to is that if you are choosing to take a full year class, which means it's a 1 full credit class, you cannot drop that class at the semester. If you're going to commit to a full year and a full credit, you are committed for the entire year. So just make sure that you're paying attention to that course selection. As we go through this presentation, and at the end of this presentation, there's going to be some key pieces to look out for via email, in your Canvas, on our Bend High website, but things like a forecasting sheet, which will be done through a Google form, this course selection guide, our curriculum guide. Those are all things that you're going to need to make sure that you're communicating with your parents, and also checking out for yourself to make sure that you are ready for your next school year. With that being said, I am going to give the floor to Mr. Seth McCracken. Take it away.
All right, thanks, Christine. Let's talk about what your schedule might look like. Let's start with seniors first. Hopefully you guys have a pile of credits and only need 5 to 7 credits total. If that's not the case, we need to talk primarily about credit recovery. But a typical senior schedule looks like this. You have, of course, your 4th year of English. Typically that's Lit and Comp 4, IB English, HL Year 2, if you took HL Year 1 the prior year, writing for college, creative writing, and or narrative comp and lit. You can choose those depending on what your path is. Ask questions of your counselors, but primarily read the descriptions in the course catalog. All of your answers should be answered, or questions should be answered there. In addition, you may still need a social studies elective. We have some options there. Make sure you look in the catalog because those change year to year and we don't know exactly what's going to be offered, but make sure you know what is offered in theory, at least in forecasting. And of course, Mrs. Ewing mentioned backups, alternates. Make sure you give us an alternate for that if you need to take that. You should all need American government. That's a required course for graduation from Bent High. That will be a semester class your senior year. And then the next 2 classes, we recommend math and science that you take a 4th year. Of course, only 3 are required. But the reasons to take a 4th year, as you know, if you don't use it, you lose it. And if you are going to a 4-year school or even a community college, you will likely take math beyond high school or after high school. So if you take a year off, you will start over essentially and maybe even regress and have to pay for classes that you could have taken while at Bent High for free. So we recommend taking a 4th year. And in addition, there could be colleges that require a 4th year. You need to know that. And if you're still in the application process, you might not know that yet. So you're better off forecasting for a 4th year. And then you'll want to make sure you pay attention to your transcript and the summary box to make sure that you have covered all of your foreign language, fine arts, and CTE credits. You need 3 of those. And if you have not covered those, you need to select or forecast for those. All right, let's talk about juniors. Juniors, you should have at least 14 credits. Well, currently you're sophomores and you'll have those when you finish. But next year you will move into your junior year and take a 4th year of English, or sorry, 3rd year of English. That's required. That's Lit and Comp 3 or IB English HL Year 1. Those are your 2 options. You can take your social studies elective as a junior or a senior, doesn't matter which. Some seniors opt to take that opposite American government, but some juniors take it a year early and get that half a credit out of the way. If you do that, make sure you check the catalog and see what your options are. Some of those electives are semesters, some opt to take a full year and cover it that way. And then math, this is dependent on where you're at in the sequencing. So if you're currently in geometry, you would likely go to Algebra 2. You can look at the course catalog and look at there's a flow chart to see what course you would be taking next and make sure you cover the prerequisites to go on to the next course. Science, this is a 3rd year requirement. We have courses like chemistry. That's probably the most typical junior science class. We have physics, anatomy and physiology, and then we have IB science courses as well. So take a look at those course descriptions and choose something that interests you. And then also foreign language, fine arts, CTE. Again, you need 3 credits of those total. Likely you'll need a 3rd year as a junior. So make sure you look at your options. And in addition, or the same goes for just general electives, that last bullet point. Make sure you're choosing electives that you're interested in, might be going towards a future career path. Just make sure you read the descriptions because as Ms. Ewing said, there are no schedule changes and we want you to take classes that you have an interest in, bottom line. All right, let's see. I am going to hand it over to Ms. Leslie Zavala.
Hi, everyone. So I'm going to talk about our 4-year planning. And in a typical school year, when we forecast with you all, we're able to do this 4-year planning in person within your small groups. The hope is that next year we have the chance to do this with you all. And we always encourage you to think about your full high school career, not just the current year. So this is an example of the 4-year planning guide that we use. And if you're interested in penciling in a plan, feel free to schedule an appointment with your counselor. For you current sophomores, now is a great time to plan out your junior and senior year and what it would look like. So again, we're happy to do this with you, even though we can't be in person, but please schedule an appointment with your counselor either through the Canvas page or the BSH website. All right, so now we're going to talk about a typical sophomore schedule. So these are the standard classes that you need for graduation and to remain on track. You do not need to take honors level classes in order to access the IB classes your junior year. So just keeping that in mind. And then if you want to double up on science with biology and chemistry, that is subject to teacher approval. So you need to talk with your current teacher right now to see if that's a good fit for you. Health 2 can be taken your sophomore year or your junior year. So that's something new that you can either take right now or push it off to your junior year. It's definitely recommended that you take that sooner rather than later, but at the same time, like, you do have that extra year to take it. All 10th graders must have 7 classes that they're forecasted for. So you're going to have your 7 credits total. And then any higher level IB, AP, or high CTE level class, again, needs teacher approval. So teachers are going to be providing their recommendations for students. So if your name is not on the list, but you had forecasted for it, you will be moved down to a standard level. And then if it's an elective, then one of your alternative choices will be used. So make sure, again, that you forecast for your current classes, your first choices, and then make sure that your alternatives are something that you are willing to take. All right, so this is just a small list of those classes that we talked about that are going to need that teacher approval. Please be sure to check out the curriculum guide that we will have posted on the Ben High website, as well as our Canvas page. That's going to have a complete, that's going to have all the courses that we are offering, as well as on the side, it's going to say if a teacher approval is needed. So again, this is just a short list. Be sure to check that curriculum guide for the complete approval list. And I'm going to pass it off to Ms. Jess Calbreth.
All right, thank you. So you guys obviously have a lot of courses to choose from. And if you want to figure out or just kind of read a little bit more about them, we definitely recommend that you check out the curriculum guide that's on our course or on our website. And there will be course descriptions that can give you an outline of what the class looks like. And then something else you might be looking for is just direction on what to take next. So a lot of you guys are in a certain level of class, depending on your grade level, and you need to figure out what comes next. So in our curriculum guide, there are these fancy little pictures that can kind of help you see the flow of how our classes occur. So for example, this is the math class course sequencing. So you can see that if you're in geometry this year, depending on how you're doing, you can take Algebra 2 next year, or maybe even possibly go into Advanced Algebra 2. If you do have questions about this, we do also suggest that you talk to your current teacher in that subject area, because they might be able to help you figure out what class would be the best fit for you. But we do want you guys to know that this information is available and ready for you to access in the curriculum guide that's available on our website, just as you start planning for your classes for next year. And then just to kind of give you an idea of what classes you still have remaining for graduation, you can log into your student view, and we recommend that you log in on the web browser, not the app, because the web browser has just more things that you can do with it. So you could go into on the web browser, log into your student view, and then click on course history. Through there, you can see all the courses that you have taken, but you can also download an unofficial transcript, which will bring up a picture like this. And so you can see that it lists all the graduation requirements on the left-hand side here. And that is based on the diploma type. So whether you're an honors diploma or an academic diploma, it will list all the credits that you need for graduation. It's going to tell you what's required. It's going to tell you classes that you already completed. So for example, if you're a 10th grader, you would have classes in there from last year that are already completed. And then this next little column that says WIP is your work in progress. So that is courses that you are taking this year. So as long as you pass all those courses, you're going to obtain that credit. And then finally, that last column will list the actual credits that you need and that you have to plan for throughout high school to obtain your graduation requirements. So this is something that we recommend that you look at the end of every semester, just to kind of make sure you're on track for graduation and see what you still have left to finish before you graduate your senior year. So before forecasting, we do recommend that you take a look at this, and then you can also use that to fill out that 4-year plan if you did want to meet with us and come up with a 4-year plan with your counselor. And then now you actually get into the forecasting process. So Ms. Baldwin's going to walk you through the fun stuff.
Hello all. All right, I'm going to wrap it up for us. First couple points. Remember, juniors and seniors, if you are going for an honors diploma, remember you need 5 capstone classes. So juniors, great time to take about 3 of them. Seniors, you're going to probably need 2 to 3 of them. So just be aware of that, and or the highest level in a CTE class. If you go through the curriculum guide, it'll actually say CAP next to the courses that are capstone classes. Also, fun fact, a lot of our teachers have created videos. So now there will be a link in our curriculum guide online where you can see the teachers talk about those classes. So if you do not want to read the descriptor and want a little bit more information from the teachers, go ahead and check out those links. Also, 10th graders, if you are thinking about doing full IB, make sure you talk to Miss Lindsay or Mr. Hutter. They're going to be sitting with you to kind of create and map out that IB path. Let's see. Oh, sports, that was the other thing. If you are in a sport, juniors, seniors, remember, you have to have 5 classes each semester. Juniors, I'm going to encourage you, take a full schedule. Senioritis, real thing. You want an easy senior year. So take a full schedule your junior year. That's what colleges are looking at. That way, senior year, you're going to love it. Okay, forecasting process. I know you're all excited for this. All right, just talked about transcripts. Make sure you look at what is required and what you have left and still need to graduate. Also, if you're thinking about a 4-year university, I want you to take a look at requirements, what colleges want. So junior year, great time to look and see what some of those requirements are. If you have any questions about that, feel free, contact your counselor, reach out to the Future Center. We are happy to help with that. Also, remember, I believe one of the other counselors talked about this, Zavala did, course placements. That will be based off of teacher recommendation. So all math classes, all higher level classes, teachers are going to give us a Google sheet with your name with their recommendation. If you do not talk to your teacher and they put down a standard level, but you request a higher level, we are going to drop you down to that standard level. So make sure you talk with your teachers before you actually go in and forecast in Student View. So we have created a Google form for you guys. It's going to walk you through all the classes that you need to forecast for. So we're taking this instead of those paper copies. You will now do this Google form. This form is required for you to complete. It's super helpful because then you can have a copy, your counselor can have a copy. We will be emailing these out to you along with all the fun paperwork that you need for forecasting. So this Google form will be available on email, on Canvas, and on our website. If you are not on our Canvas page, then what I want you to do is I want you to go to the Bend High website. There's a link that you can access to get requests for your year's Canvas page. You can also reach out to one of your counselors and we will get you set up in that Canvas page. Lots of really great information. Also, please review this with your parents. I do not want to get a call from your parents saying, I don't want my student in this class. I'm going to go based off of what you forecast for, and I don't want to have to get in a conversation with your parents about what class is the best fit. So please, for my sanity, talk to your parents. You will all have a designated forecasting week that you guys will actually input these classes into Student View. Prior to that week, we are going to send out a video that walks you step by step of how to input your classes. But before you do that, remember those Google Forms need to be done. All right, let's take a look at this next slide we got. Oh, dates. This is what Ewing was talking about. All right, so mark your calendars. That Google form, that must be done by February 17th. I want some time so I can review all of your guys' classes and make sure you guys are on the right path before you actually input those into Student View. All right, I got some more dates for you. Okay, this is important. So your counselor will be available during your forecasting week. So your forecasting week is when your Student View goes live and you can actually input your classes. Juniors, your forecasting week is going to be February 22nd through the 26th. Counselors will be available in their WebEx rooms from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. during each grade level forecasting week. So if you have questions, just hop onto your counselor's WebEx. We will be there to answer those questions. Sophomores, your forecasting week. So when your Student View goes live and when your counselor is available to speak with you, March 1st through 5th. Freshmen, your date is going to be March 8th through 12th. So take a screenshot of this, pause the video, write this down. There will be more information coming out along with that tutorial of how to input those classes into Student View. But remember, prior to that, I want that Google form done. If you have any additional questions and you want to meet with your counselor before or after, please feel free to sign up to see us. You can access us on the Bend High website. We have our Remind links right there, also through the Canvas page, also through email. So tons of ways to get a hold of us. So reach out. Do know that while we are back in school, we are not doing face-to-face visits. So it'll all be through WebEx and not during your class time. We will cancel those meetings, but we still do want to see you. So please sign up. We're happy to walk you through any of this. All right, go forth and happy forecasting.